Hey everyone, welcome back to Teenage Therapy. I'm Gael.
I'm Kayla.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Mark.
And welcome back to another episode of Teenage Therapy. Some might say this could be a very controversial one. Lots of strong opinions here. So look, if you have an opinion, keep it to yourself. Just kidding. No. Tell us in the comments. So if you have an opinion, you have some thoughts, tell us. Let us know what you think. Because I think this is a very interesting topic because I always see a tweet about it. And in the replies, it's always like a huge fight. And the topic for that is, do you have a type? Like physically a type, right? And I don't mean just like, I don't know, brown eyes. I like big lips or something like more like, okay, there's some preferences that seem to border on features that are exclusive or usually more common in certain ethnicities, right? So for example, if you like really thin lips, a lot of European and just white people tend to have thinner lips. If you like big eyes, I feel like a lot of Latinos tend to have big eyes. Or maybe it's just the little kids that have like huge eyes, right? Like big eyes, big eyebrows. Yeah. And obviously a lot of Asian people tend to have smaller eyes. So some people are like, I love someone that has like a big nose and like big lips, and it tends to border on like one certain ethnicity. So the question that a lot of people ask is like, is that okay? Can you be like, yeah, I tend to prefer, I don't know, Europeans, or I tend to prefer Latinos because they have this certain look, and I just really like how that looks. I tend to find them more attractive. So the first question I would like your thoughts on is, if you say, I'm going to use Latino as like an example. So if you're like, I prefer Latinos because, I don't know, they just tend to be more attractive to me most of the time. Is that acceptable, or is that like you need to have your soul destroyed? What do we think about that, team?
Right now, I feel like I don't think it's like actually because I think it's a difference between like preferring a race, but even then, like, that sounds weird. And then actively, like, if somebody isn't that race, then you're just not gonna like date them, or you're not even gonna think about it, you know?
That's a good point.
I think as long as you're still like open-minded towards other people not within that race, I think it's okay. But at the same time, it's still a little like questionable.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I've always thought racial preferences were weird. And like it's hard to know if it's wrong or not, because every time somebody does have a racial preference, I'm immediately taken aback from it. Like
it's questionable.
It's very questionable. Like,
why?
Just because I don't know if it's like it doesn't sit right with me to have like a certain attraction to certain races. And then I don't know, like
so
it's hard to explain and put into words, but
making one thing clear is that this is on the assumption that you're not okay. Something right off the bat that is completely like, I don't think there's any argument as to why it would be acceptable is discriminating other entire races because they're that race. So if you're like, I don't date Latinos, I like Asians, but like no Latinos please at all, that is obviously discrimination. Like that's racist. Like how can you just discredit the entire like fucking ethnicity? Because I don't know, like that doesn't make sense, right? So that's not okay. I think we're all in agreement on that. Like there's really nothing we can say about that.
For sure.
Where it gets complicated though is if you're like, I mean, I'm open to anyone that's attractive. Like I really don't care what ethnicity they are. But from what I've noticed is like, I usually every time, like 80% of the time, I'm like, wow, he's attractive and he's Latino. So it's clear that there's like a preference there. Is that something that you think is acceptable?
You see, okay, We've actually had this conversation off camera so many times. Like,
Yeah.
We have
literally,
topic, guys.
yeah,
Big topic
like
for
we
us.
have talked. This is a good dinner topic. We always talk about this over like dinner somewhere.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Like, for me, I have experienced a lot of people with racial preferences. You know, with Asians especially and stuff, obviously. And it makes me so uncomfortable. And for instance, there was this one guy I talked to. It was not that long ago, but I found out his ex was Asian, and that really was like, okay, whatever. But then I found out that he had talked to a lot of other Asian guys, and he was following a lot of other Asian guys, and like, this isn't like the first time this has happened to me. Like, I just feel like the guys that are interested in me, they always have a thing for Asians. And the reason why that puts me off is because it just makes me feel like I'm just another Asian to them. Like, I'm not my own person. Like, they don't like me for my personality.
They only like you for the fact that you're Asian.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, like, it ruins a lot of, I guess, potential things because now I can't see past that. Like, I can't see past the fact that they have a thing for Asians and I'm just one of them. And it's just like super uncomfortable for me. And I'm pretty sure like anybody would feel that way. It's reasonable why. So that's why, like, I don't know if it's wrong or right.
You just know it feels weird.
It does.
Yeah.
It would. Yeah, it does. It definitely does make me hella uncomfortable. But yeah, I mean.
What about you, boys?
Damn, we're gonna stick with that.
Boys, any thoughts?
Oh, with racial preferences or?
Yeah, like the question, like, is it okay if you're like, I like all races really, but like I tend to be drawn to like Asians.
Okay, well, speaking from my own personal experiences, I do find myself having a preference towards Asian women. And I feel like that's because of the circle that I surrounded myself and in the environment that I grew up in. All throughout my life, I feel like I've only hung out with Asians, and I found more things in common with Asians just because we basically went through the same experiences with home life, with family, especially like other Filipinos. You know, I was able to relate because like there's only like so many Filipinos in elementary schools. So it's pretty funny because once I found out that they're Filipino, it's sort of like instant crush for some reason. And then like everybody else is like shipping me with that Filipino girl. Only because like we're both Filipino. Which is pretty funny. But then once I kind of like went to like a different school, that sort of when my taste in women sort of expanded as well. You get what I mean? Because I grew up, and again, like it wasn't only like Asian women. Like I had a crush on this Mexican girl in like the first grade, because a lot of people in my elementary school were either Mexican or Asian. And so, yeah. Yeah, and to be honest, you know, like kind of basically like all the crushes that I ever had was either Mexican or Asian. And I feel like that's only because of the environment that I grew up in.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I feel like that is reasonable because those are the people you've been around with. And it's not like you're discriminating a race. Yeah. Like, I just feel like
it's like basically what I'm like shown, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like having like, if your preference is your own race, that's understandable because
like
there's like so much middle ground.
Yeah.
And like you can relate a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the thing is too, I feel like parents sort of like push you on that for like a lot of Asian parents. Like they don't want you dating a specific race just because like they're not their own race, if that makes sense, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for example, because I know like a lot of, because Koreans and Japanese, they'd had like a rough history. And so what would happen, like hearing from my friends, that their parents wouldn't allow them to date, let's say like I have a Japanese friend, they wouldn't allow them to date a Korean person just because of what happened in the past. And just to bring it like to my own personal experience, I used to have this friend that was white. And so my mom would sort of push me to have a crush on this girl just because she was white.
Oh wow.
And then she was like,
It's good money.
yeah, it's like sort of, this is where it gets kind of weird, because I would ask her, like, why do you want me to have a crush on her? And then she would say, it's because she's white. I want a half white, half Filipino grandchild. I'm like,
Biracial kids.
exactly. And, you know, even from like that, even from a younger age, I'd always think that's a little weird. That doesn't sound right, because it doesn't sound like you're doing it for the right reason. It just sounds like you're just doing it for aesthetic purposes, which is pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my own personal
Okay.
experience with that.
Yeah. That makes sense. Isaac, I know you don't have a lot of crushes, but in general, do you think that like preferences is acceptable? Is it unacceptable to?
For me, I've never really thought of like a preference as bad, because a preference is a preference, right? So you're still gonna view everyone as like a potential partner for you, but sometimes you may think that like a certain race or whatever is in your favor. Like as long as you don't make it weird, like Thomas said, where everyone you're following is one race. You see everyone as simply just that race to you, not even as an individual person. But the main thing is weird is like when people express it, like if you have a preference, you should keep it to yourself. But for example, I have someone who's actually pretty close to me, and I don't know, it puts me off because he fetishizes like Asians. And he says weird shit.
Really puts me off, yeah.
He says really weird shit about it as a joke, but it's so weird. Like it's the weirdest shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's the worst thing you can do when you're vocal, being like, I really like this race. Oh my god, they're the best. And it's just keep it to yourself. Like it's weird.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think if you do have a preference, like I don't know, you tend to like Latinos. I don't know if it would be weird if you just kept going like, oh, I love Latinos. Like, yes, they're the best. They're so fine. Like all Latino men are so fine. Like it's like I want a Latino man. Like okay, I don't know. Like you could have that. You could be like, yeah, they're attractive, but I don't know. Keep it to yourself. I think it's especially weird when you say like like I want an Asian. I want a Latino. It's like kind of like they're like an object.
Yeah, it's weird.
That seems like objectifying to me. And so I'm on the same boat. I think when it comes to preferences, a lot of it is subconscious. It's like the environment you were raised in. If you were around mostly like Latino people, you're probably just going to have a preference for them since that's what you were used to. And so your environment tends to play like a big factor in what you like and you don't like. And sometimes you don't even know like why you have certain preferences, because again, so many factors go into it that like one that you just realize like, where did this come from? And you don't exactly know where it came from. Maybe it could have literally been like a show. You had a crush on this one person from the show, and ever since then you were a kid, you just got influenced to like have that certain preference. So I think in my case, the way I see it is like, yeah, as long as you're not discriminating against any one race or specifically like searching just for one single race, then like I think it's like fine, because most of us like can't really control it. I mean, you can't, I don't know if you could necessarily control what you find attractive and what you don't. It's just something you develop. But I know Thomas and I have a lot of fights, a lot of discussion, no, a lot of debate. Scholarly debate.
I was kind of waiting. So I didn't know
it's gonna happen naturally.
Yeah,
Or
I didn't know if you wanted me to talk about it.
So what happens is that Thomas and I tend to fight a lot because he's like, you have like mad yellow fever, you like fetishize Asians, like it's weird that you do that. Like you find every single Asian cute, like all you want is like an Asian, right? And I'm like, okay, well, why do you see that? And he's like, well, you've only ever dated Asians and the people you've talked to have been Asian. I was like, yeah, that is true. And so the reason we fight on it is I'm like, is I really like yellow fever or is it a preference? Because the usual typical use of the phrase yellow fever is someone that's like fetishizing and objectifying Asians. So I would understand it if I was like, yo, I want an Asian. Like, I want an Asian boyfriend. I want an Asian man. That would make sense. But I've never really thought about it like that. Most of the time, it's just like, damn, they're cute. Oh, they happen to be Asian. Like, that's unfortunate.
Okay. Well, so yeah, like throughout Gal and I's relationship, it was honestly, it was like from the very start, like it was always there. Cause I remember Gael told me he like when he was in grade school, he had a thing for Asian girls before he realized he was gay. And then I was like, okay, I mean, cool. And then like when Gael and I would like hang out, we would go on dates. If there was like, I feel like every time there was another Asian guy, Gael would always point him out. And like because of that, I always felt so insecure. And like I never felt like you know, am I the right Asian guy for you, or is there someone else better? And then I remember when Gael and I would like be on TikTok, his entire For You page was all Asians, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember his following list, they were all Asians. And like this is why it really got to me, and it was like such a problem in our relationship.
Yeah.
It was because I felt like I was competing against like every single Asian male there was, because I just felt like Gael always found every single one attractive. Like I mean I can't name them, but like I know who. And there are so many Asian guys I can name, and I can list of like who Gael found attractive, and they were all Asian. I'm sure there isn't like one Vietnamese last name that Gael has not liked. And I don't like, I'm not trying to like make Gael seem like a bad person, because like I'm sure like this isn't intentional or anything, but obviously I think it's reasonable why I felt so uncomfortable, and why this yellow fever from Gael was so concerning and just very frustrating.
Yeah, I think that's like completely fair. Like, it makes sense. And yeah, back then, like I remember even when I was like in like first grade or something, I guess I don't know if like my family pushed this idea on me, or like I somehow got it from somewhere, but like you'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll have an Asian girlfriend, I guess. And so that was then. And then I met Thomas. And I mean, before Thomas, I don't think I really even paid much attention to people. The only crushes I remember having were on white men, unfortunately, which was Cole Sprouse and Leo Howard, respectively.
He was white?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, girl, come on.
I know.
Like,
I didn't
bruh.
know that.
So I used to find like Cole Sprouse so fucking cute. Like, he was like the ideal man for like 11-year-old me, right? Like 12-year-old me. I was like, whoa. And I thought I was straight too. So that's how I was. I did remember there was another Asian crush that I did have from like a movie called like Ninja Assassin, and the dude was Asian. So those were like the 3 childhood crushes that I remember having. And so that happened, and then I met Thomas. I was like, oh, he's so cute. So that was like 7th grade. And like, I don't know. I guess I didn't even realize I found him cute. I thought I just wanted to be his friend. But I guess I had a crush on him. And so I had a crush on him. And then after that, like, I feel like after I started dating you is when I kind of started having more of a preference for like Asians, I guess. And yeah, I would definitely realize that, like, and this is something I didn't even realize till Thomas pointed it out, that like my feed was like, my explore page on Instagram was like, had a lot of Asians there. And like down the line, like when TikTok came around, that also had a lot of Asians. And I didn't even realize until Thomas was like they're all over the place. And I was like, damn, you're right. And that's when I realized, like, something you also have to watch out for is that if you look at something, the algorithm will show you more of it. And so I realized like Instagram would show me like on explore page like someone attractive, an Asian attractive man, and I would click on it. And then maybe I scroll for a bit, get out of there, go somewhere else, and then they would show me more. And so now I had more people. And so it's like Instagram showing me all these like Asian attractive models, celebrities, and I'm like, oh wow, they're so attractive. And so they're showing me more. And then that data goes on TikTok, and then they start showing me more. And so now, out of nowhere, like I find myself in this bubble of like Asians. And so my environment is filled with that. So since it's what I'm always looking at when I'm like actually in the outside world, is like, that's what I notice, right? And so that was definitely something that happened. That wasn't necessarily like intentional. Like I wasn't like typing like hashtag Asian and then looking through like the hashtags. For the most part, like it came to me and I was like, oh, well, he's attractive. And so that was like a weird cycle that like I had to get out of. And like every time I saw like a model on my page, I had to be like not interested, and then it would start showing me less and less. So I think that's also one important step when I say like it's your environment that you're in. Like if that's all you see, you're gonna be like, wow, they're so attractive. You start finding them attractive. So that was definitely also something weird that I had to like get out of. But besides that, I think I don't know. I guess I do find Asians attractive. But I don't know. That's something we argued on. Like, are you fetishizing them? Are you not? And I think before, maybe I was. You think I was before? Like freshman year? Because what even is fetishizing?
I think,
because I don't know if I ever said like I want an Asian. I just be like, oh wow, they're so attractive.
I think you just maybe had like, I think fetishization is like you have like expectations, like this
They're submissive.
Yeah, or not even that, but you just have certain traits and certain
stereotypes.
Yeah, associated with them, and like you find that attractive.
Yeah, so I don't think I ever really thought of that, because I know typically when it comes to Asian men and women, they're considered like submissive. They're considered like very just like soft, kind of like, what's the word? Just right, like very just submissive, like non-manly, sort of feminine men, especially in the gay community. And so, yeah, I don't think I ever really thought of them like that. I don't think I had like a set idea of whether like an Asian man should be submissive or dominant or anything like that. It was just like, I just think they have attractive features. So that happened. And so we used to fight a lot whether it was fetishizing or not. And like, so it was always like, I don't think I am, because I don't really necessarily like look for Asian men when I'm like looking for someone to date. It's sort of like who's attractive. And the, I guess maybe unfortunate part, or like the interesting part, is that like most of the time, like if I'm like, oh wow, he's really attractive, it's like someone Asian, right? And that's where it's like, is that correct? Because what I would like question is like, well, I don't want to like fetishize them or objectify them, so I can't but the thing is, if I'm like, I'm not going to date any Asians because I don't want to fetishize them, then that would be like discriminating against them. So
Bless you.
So I guess it was just kind of like, how do you deal with it? Like, is it wrong? Is it right? Like, if I like find an Asian man attractive, should I be like, I should stay away? So I guess that's what we used to fight a lot about.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to answer whether it's right or not, because intentions, environment, like a lot of context is needed to like declare what would be like moral and immoral and what's right and wrong. I just remember that like being so young and having like your current boyfriend like just always seem to just be talking about every Asian guy. It's like it really got to me.
Makes sense.
And like I feel like even today, like I always see them as competition now. Like I never saw that before. I never ever saw that. Like they were like my friends and stuff, but like especially with Asian gay guys, I always feel like I have to compete. Like because I don't know, like people like I feel like it's so common for guys to have a thing for Asians, and that makes it really hard for me to find somebody or like be interested in somebody when they might just be into me because I'm Asian and not because they actually like me or anything. So yeah, it got to me, and it's kind of has like a lingering effect. Obviously, like when I say I'm like competing against these guys, I'm not like doing anything outrageous. I'm just constantly comparing myself with them and seeing if I'm good enough or not. But yeah.
Yeah. I think in the gay community, fetishizing is a lot more common, or maybe it's just a lot more outspoken than like in the straight community. Like literally on gay dating apps, there's a filter where you could filter by race. So you could filter like if you want white men, if you want black men, if you want Asian men, Latino men. So I think specifically in the gay community, it is sort of this common feeling. Because I mean, I don't feel it to the extent that you do, but in my case, I sometimes it does cross my mind that like, since I'm Latino, I have to have these certain stereotypes or attributes that get placed on us, right? And every race, I think, struggles with this. Black men struggle with a lot of that. Like Asians struggle with a lot of that, and Latinos struggle with a lot of that. So I don't know. It's kind of unfortunate that it has to cross our mind, but I do understand where you're coming from when you say that. Like, if you start talking to someone, they're like, yeah, my last boyfriend was Latino. It's sort of like, But I guess, I don't know. For me, I don't think it's like, I do think it's like, that's interesting, but yeah, I don't know if it necessarily like bothers me, because I know that sometimes, like, I don't know, they just find them attractive.
Yeah, it's just very off-putting. A lot.
Yeah. But that's the question. Are racial preferences okay? Some people really, really argue that it's not. And I don't understand that. Because I don't know if it's something you could control.
I think there's a way to go about it, but a lot of the ways people go about it, it's wrong.
How do you think it's
they are
wrong
like
and right?
They only want that race. They like objectify them, and it's like there's a pattern. Like there's a noticeable pattern that they will only ever talk to or like have an interest in that certain race. And I don't know, like I feel like that's just really weird.
Yeah. Sometimes I get frustrated at myself because like I'll find someone attractive and they're Asian and I'm like, damn, that's not fun. Like I don't want my history to be like, I guess, only Asian men, because like I've obviously found like all types of people attractive. It hasn't just been Asian men, but I don't know. I think it even like off-puts myself that I have like those preferences, which like is unfortunate. And I guess this type of stereotyping is like pretty common. Like I hear people all the time saying like, ooh, Latino women are so bad. Like Latino women are like mad fine, or like, ooh, they're Asian toxic. Women. Oh yeah. The toxicity of like Latino women, or like, ooh, black men are so fine. Like they're so dominant and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know. It's like more common than you think. Like I'm sure most people you will date will have some sort of history that like there's a pattern in. And yeah. So I guess so. That's our question that like we kind of talked about. Any other thoughts from anyone?
Yeah, I mean, this episode really wasn't like. It's all subjective. Like, there's not a
Right
or wrong. Like, it's literally just how we view it, our perspectives on it,
Yeah.
and how every side would feel about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess like I don't know what you can take away from this, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
Find
like-
someone.
yourself. Start to
Find
question
someone that
yourself.
fetishizes you in the way you fetishize them.
Okay.
Just kidding. Actually, though, that's actually a question, though. How do you feel about that? Like, what if you find someone that's fetishizing you in the way you fetishize them, and you both love each other's personality?
I mean,
Well, then they wouldn't see anything wrong with the other
Yeah.
person
So-
or themselves.
yeah, literally like they just
Perfect
go
match
about
for
it.
that.
I know,
Exactly,
perfect
perfect
match.
match.
They're obsessed with you. You're obsessed with them. What can you do?
Yeah.
But maybe not for the right reasons.
That's interesting. Because have you seen those couples that's like, it's like, let's say it's like a Latino and an Asian. They're like, ooh, I love Latinos. Ooh, I love Asians. And they just like love each other's personalities. Then like, is that fine? Like if they're both fetishizing one another, like, what, like is that a win-win? Is that like
I
politically
mean,
wrong
for them, it's a
For
win-win.
them, but like for the culture,
for the culture?
mm,
That's really funny. Yeah. So, do you have a preference?
me,
Mm-hmm.
not really. Like literally, I've talked to all kinds of guys, and I don't know, like it. Like sure, sometimes I will find myself liking Asians and like Latinos more, but like I kind of like, I don't know, like there isn't like a race that I do not like. I just like
Right.
attractive
Yeah,
guys,
no.
and
What
I don't really
about
care about the race.
Yeah, not race. Like obviously, we're not gonna be like, I don't like this race.
yeah, yeah. Obviously,
Do you have any
but
like physical preferences?
not really. Like literally, I don't really have a type. As long as like they're tall, and like
And have blue eyes and brown hair and abs.
no,
and
as long as they're tall, like I literally cannot really ask for more. Like if you're taller than me at least. Like you don't need to be like 6 foot, but like as
So
long
then
as you're
5'5".
no.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
Because I still
You
want
heard it here first.
I still want a
Need
good height
clarification.
difference. I'm 5'4", by the way. I don't know if I'm gonna lose all of my secret admirers.
That butt is dangerous.
Yeah.
But
tall.
but yeah, like as long as the guy is tall,
I don't have a preference,
That's
but
You have to be tall.
these are my requirements. Nice.
Yeah,
What about you,
that's
Kayla?
Kayla,
Ew. Why'd
you
you laugh
cannot
like that?
lie and
I feel like it's kind of the same as Thomas, I guess. Tall-ish. Yeah.
just tall and attractive. Like that's it.
Just like it, and honestly, like yeah, that's really it. As long as you're attractive and tall.
taller.
or
Taller.
tall, you'll automatically like you'll be how do I say this? You'll stand out, I guess.
That's so interesting that you guys don't have like things that like draw you to them. Because I think a lot of
Buskets.
people do. Like most people
Oh.
do. So it's kind of interesting. You're like, just being tall is what draws you to them. Because for me, I think the things that catch my eye more often than not is brown hair, brown eyes, big lips, and small eyes.
That's interesting, Mr. Joe.
Why?
That's really interesting.
Why?
I don't know. Like you said, brown hair,
Yeah.
brown eyes.
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
Big lips.
Yo, that's you. Describing you.
No
Bro,
way.
that's you.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I love brown hair.
You do?
I think brown hair is so.
I think it's better than blonde.
Yes, I don't like
I
blonde hair
agree.
and blue eye combo.
Bro, some people were born like that.
I know, and I'm
people,
sorry.
man.
It's
Kyle
it's
doesn't like
not,
you.
I don't
Don't
know.
worry, we like
It's
us.
okay. They're like cute. You can be good looking. It's just not my. I don't know. Something about brown hair just makes me feel I don't know, warm brown hair. So sharp features with brown hair.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Isaac?
I feel like there's so way to. What?
Go ahead.
I feel like there's so many ways to be attractive. I don't really have a type. Like if I like the person, I'll just like them.
Respect to you. Must make
Respect.
everything
Exactly.
easier.
It's not that deep. Like,
Must make everything easier.
what about you, Mark?
Yeah, so somebody with colored hair, somebody with big lips, somebody with a necklace like this. I'm just kidding.
Enough.
Something
Enough. Get to the real stuff. Like, we don't give a fuck. Just kidding.
On the real
That's
notes.
cute. Yeah.
I really like when they're like funny, where they can make me laugh. That's like,
Oh, girl, we talking physical.
Yeah.
oh, we're talking physical.
Girl, we're not. I love
Of
someone
course,
that's like,
personality plays a huge
Yeah.
part.
No, but
Like,
when they're
that's like
funny,
the biggest
oh my gosh, that's this is amazing.
I love when they're like.
And they're super funny.
toxic.
No, I
Please
like
do not
when they
romanticize that. I
gaslight.
know.
No,
When they
I've heard
manipulate
guys
you.
say this line so many
little
times.
toxicity. Funny. What else?
Something that's like that I find myself liking a lot is like hoop earrings. If the girl, I don't know, that's physical.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, it's
That
physical.
counts,
Then
sure.
yeah, hoop earrings. It's like so funny.
Latinas. Fucking Latinas.
What? I didn't know that they wear hoop earrings a lot.
Red lipstick too.
I'm not actually a fan of red lipstick.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. It's more like I like when they're like matte or darker toned.
You know what I do not like? The like
Glossy
the
lips. I
brown.
don't like.
No,
okay.
I like
don't
glossy lips.
I
When they look
know.
glossy and shiny, yum. No, but when it's like brown, like a nude color,
Yeah,
I don't like nude lips.
I think I do.
No,
I think I like.
I don't know nude lips. Like I don't like when lips fade into like your face.
Really? I feel like it looks nice.
What?
Yeah, I do.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like when they're like
Yeah.
differentiated. So like a pink.
Oh no, not me.
But a lot of
Really? Literally not
POC have like a nude lip.
So am I a fucking racist?
No, I'm just saying that like
What are you trying to
like
say?
pink lips is normally like a European thing, I think. Like
Really?
yeah, I see it.
I think so.
Yeah,
too.
like
Maybe.
nude lips are usually POC.
Yeah. Oh, and also before I know someone will probably point it out,
Huh.
we probably are talking about Asians as in like specifically from
South.
Vietnam,
Yeah.
Japan, South Korea, Thailand. Because I know there's all sorts of Asians. But it's East Asians?
I think it's
South?
South,
Okay, South.
South
Yes,
Asians?
just to clarify that.
I believe.
that's
so. Or
interesting.
I know that's
Yeah. But yeah, no, nude lip, like when it blends, like I hate when my lips blend into like,
What?
my face in pictures. Like
That's
I
crazy.
hate it.
let me
That's
see.
crazy.
I don't think.
And
I
I'm
know.
like looking at them.
I mean,
Because my lips are like brownish almost. And I don't like that. I wish I had rose pink lips.
I like your lips, Mr. Joe.
Okay, you want to kiss him?
Oh, kiss him, bro.
Kiss him then if you like him so much. Anyways, okay, well that's interesting.
No, that's really interesting that we found out our little.
Yeah, our little quirks.
Yeah,
The
little
it's like
quirks.
different. It's like the opposite, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So as long as you're funny. He wants a clown. He wants a comedian.
We have a comedian over
Got a
here.
comedian.
Oh my gosh.
Motherfucker. Yo, come dressed up in a clown outfit. Mark will like thirst
Stop
over you,
it.
bruh. He'll be like,
Stop.
God damn.
Not right now.
You so funny. All right, guys.
That's
well,
funny.
let us know what you think about preferences, especially if it's like preferences that like are features predominantly in a certain ethnicity. Let us know what you think about that. But with that being said, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.